Hey everybody, welcome to Precision Impact. My name is Dirk, and on today's segment, we're going to do something just a little bit different. It's going to be a behind-the-scenes view at us using our slugs with athletes. Now, for my first round here, you can tell that I'm going to be using strictly slugs. 5 slugs in a row with minimal coaching. All I'm really trying to make clear to them is to hit the ball square, hit them with a bit of an intent, and try not to change their swing. You'll see a lot of athletes and baseball players and hitters change their swing to directly reflect the slug they know is coming to them. Simply remind them to keep their swing consistent as if it were a leather baseball coming towards them. I try to keep my coaching to a minimal in terms of technique. I pick a bit of a focus for that session or that round and try not to confuse them or overstimulate them with a lot of coaching. For this particular round, I'm trying to probably either remind them to stay inside the baseball and not to try to come around on a ball outside. So just to stay inside and hit the ball hard as possible. I'm not necessarily trying to coach too much during the slugs. The slugs are simply designed for a bit of stimulus that I want to give them, which is going to be an overloaded stimulus. It's going to be heavy. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect. Reminding them also to make sure they're hitting balls in the strike zone and not chasing things up too high or too low or to chase a ball that's coming in their direction anyways. I'm simply trying to provide them with an overloaded stimulus that the 15-ounce slug will provide, and just reminding them to keep their swing consistent. As we move on to further rounds, it's going to be a little bit of a different shift in the focus, but nonetheless, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. You'll see some of these athletes initially starting out changing their swing a little bit, or just simply getting used to a slug coming their direction that's going to weigh 3 times the size of a normal baseball. A lot of these baseballs as well they're hitting are going to give them a lot of feedback. Occasionally I'll try to remind them of the feedback that the ball is giving them so that hopefully if they do these on their own or when we do them together, I don't need to coach that much. They know immediately after hitting the ball what they're looking at. I want them to ideally hit the ball square and hit the screen. Right in my face is what I try and get them to aim for. If they're a little bit underneath, you'll see the ball spin away. If they're a little bit on top, you're going to see them pull or drive it right into the dirt. When you hit the ball square, it's a noticeably different feeling, and it's going to go a little bit where they want it to go, where I'm trying to coach them to is right in my face or towards the back of the screen if possible. Now in this round, you're going to see I'm going to use 2 slugs, and then I'm going to shift over to leather baseballs. Now what I'm trying to do is just, again, feed them that heavy-weighted stimulus and then give them that 5-ounce leather baseball and try and get that power output, that explosivity to transfer over. And you're going to see that almost immediately in these last 2 baseballs. It takes maybe 1-2 balls to adjust, but I want them to make that adjustment as quick as possible. So again, 1 slug, 2 slugs, just getting that overloaded stimulus, switching over to a leather baseball and watching that ball hopefully explode off the bat noticeably. They're going to think it's a heavy ball coming in, but it's significantly lighter when they make contact. Again, I don't want them to come around to the outside of the baseball. I want them staying in. I want their swing to be consistent, and I want there to be some intent behind it. When they swing at a slug, it's going to be noticeably heavier, and there's going to be a little bit of an impact in on them. I want them to put some intensity behind it, so then again, switch over to leather baseball here. I want that ball to explode off their bat, hopefully again, trying to hit me in the face, and I want them to swing with some intent, hitting that screen if they can, and it's going to be noticeably lighter despite it being a 5-ounce leather baseball that they're playing with. I want it to feel noticeably lighter compared to a 5-ounce or to a 15-ounce slug. Again, 2 slugs starting out. The focus being just hitting the ball contact and then switching over to a leather baseball and watching that ball explode off the end of the bat. Again, occasionally if I see them doing something noticeably wrong, like in that situation, reaching or going chasing a baseball out in front of them, or in that other situation, just swinging at a ball noticeably out of the strike zone up at the zone, I want to just remind them that, again, there should be a bit of an approach no matter whether you're at the plate playing in a game or even a cage. There ought to be a bit of an approach, swinging at quality pitches and pouncing on it and attacking that baseball. Making sure top hand, again, we want to make sure our top hands don't roll over. That could be a sign of whether our hands are lined up in the appropriate position. But I want to make sure that they're just staying inside the baseball and driving it right at my face. I'm close enough that it shouldn't take a lot of difficulty or it shouldn't be very difficult to hit me right in the face. I'm sitting so close. As I back up, they're going to have to swing and extend through the baseball noticeably a lot more in order to hit me. On this third round, again, I want to be challenging them a little bit. especially on their first 2 rounds. If they made a couple of mistakes in swinging at bad pitches, I want to challenge them to make sure that they're swinging at quality pitches and they're attacking that baseball. Overloading them again with some heavy stimulus and then switching over back to a lighter baseball. The emphasis should be simple. The day should be a day where it's a technical day, it might be a little bit more technical. On other days where less technical, it might be just hitting the ball with some explosivity or just some intent. Or hitting it square, or maybe it's just staying a little bit more relaxed at the plate. With these stimulus, with a heavy baseball, it's that most of these days that I use these baseballs or these slugs, it's going to be an emphasis on power. It's going to be an emphasis on contact and hitting the ball square. Here, we've just changed up the view a little bit so you can see it with their swing and with the direction the ball is going. Here, he's rolled over a little bit. Again, my carrying isn't nearly as much in the slugs, but how they transition. Here, he's made a great transition into a leather baseball. I want the leather baseball to be the result. You know, that's what I'm looking for. How well do they do on it? Not necessarily how well they're hitting the slugs. The baseball is the end result, obviously on good pitches as well, but I want to know that it's not a slug that they're necessarily hitting perfectly, but the baseball that they're transitioning into.